Okay, today we're going to get started with our research project on Canada and its provinces. Now, for this project, each of us is going to be assigned one of the 13 territories or provinces of Canada that we're going to have to research, and we're going to have to find some information about several different topics. What I want to do in class today is I want to go through and talk a little bit about all of the expectations that you're going to have in order to do well on this assignment. Now, you're going to find that expectations list in the rubric inside of the today's folder. So if you go to Schoology, you're going to be able to find the folder for today, and you're going to see that rubric is going to be attached in there. I'd like you to go ahead and maybe split your screen and take a look at that so that you can follow along, or you can just listen to me and I'll talk about it, each of these parts that you're required to do and what you're required to do and what this finished project is going to look like. It's going to start for the first week or so. We're going to be researching one of these topics, and then after that we're going to be putting it together in a PowerPoint and then turning that into a video. But we have to sort of crawl before we walk, and we got to start with the research. That's the most important part of this assignment, is that research. All the other stuff is secondary to getting our information, our material researched. So let's go ahead and take a look at what our requirements are. So, as I mentioned, for this project, we're going to be researching a province or a territory of Canada, and I'm going to give you your research assignment here at the end of this video. I'll tell you where you can find your research assignment. You're going to have to find some very specific information through your research. Once you have completed the discovery portion of our research, we're going to move on to the sharing portion of this assignment. Now, anytime we create something for our class, our hope is that we're going to be able to share that with our classmates so that they can also share in our learning. So I want you to be able to share what you learned with your classmates. And the way that we're going to do that is by creating a PowerPoint video. Your video is going to be multiple slides. It's going to need to have images and some limited information on each slide, in which you provide the viewer with a voiceover of even more important information. Below, you're going to find the rubric that has all of the requirements as well as the point values for each portion of this assignment. We want to use this rubric. We don't want to lose it. We want to be able to mark off as we go through and sort of check off all of the things that we have to do as we work on the development of our PowerPoint video. So let's go ahead and venture down into this rubric portion and talk about some of the things that we need to have on our PowerPoint. First thing, we need to have a title slide. Your title slide is going to have the name of your assigned province or territory, nice and big in the center so it grabs people's attention, and then also an image of a map or the flag of your assigned province. Either one is fine. Next, we're going to move on to the location. You're going to have to research the location and provide the relative location of your province or territory, where it's located in Canada. You're also going to need to identify any other provinces, territories, or countries, or even bodies of water that border your assigned location. Next, we move into the place or region portion of your project that you're going to research. I would like you to identify and describe at least 3 physical features that are located in your province. In addition to that, we're going to identify and describe at least 3 man-made features that are located in your province. Then I want you to tell me about 3 major cities that people would choose to visit in your province or territory. What makes these cities so interesting? What points of interest should people visit if they were vacationing in your province or territory? These things could be historical landmarks, cultural events, area or other areas of significance. Anything else that would allure tourists or visitors to that region. okay? The following section of our research is going to be the people section of our research. And for this, we're going to need to know a general population. We want to know what type of clothing or outfits they wear. Are there some traditional clothing or cultural clothing that they wear in those regions? Their languages. We want to know what are the major languages spoken in this area. What's their primary and some of the other smaller language groups that exist there? Do they have some specific customs or traditions, maybe holidays that they celebrate that are unique to this location? And finally, what are specific traditional foods that are common to the area? Is there a particular food that that area is known for? The next portion of our research is going to take us to the history portion. And in that section, we're going to want to know when was the province or territory formed, and then we want to describe the type of government that exists in this province or territory. The last section of our research is going to be the free choice section. And in this section, you can choose from one of the following 5 things to do some research on. You can find a famous person, talk about them. You can find a current event that has happened within the last month in your territory or province and summarize that. You can research what family life is like in your province or territory. You can talk about natural events such as natural disasters that might have occurred or occur frequently in your area. Or you can talk about a specific tourist hotspot that hasn't been mentioned previously in your assignment. Now, all of those things, as you could see, have assigned points. There is also a quality of work portion here that you're going to be graded on. And you can see the different things there on the screen and on your paper. And finally, a bibliography page that you're going to have to complete that's going to have at least 3 reliable resources listed. And you know how to find reliable resources because we focused on that last week. All right? And I will show you how to format that information later on. Now, on the rest of this document, I give you some helpful hints, and I want you to review that on your own time because these are going to help you prepare for your PowerPoint and video. As I said, this research portion of the assignment is the most important. That's where you're going to get most of your points are going to come from the research component. So you really want to do a great job here, and that way it makes everything else easy whenever you get to the PowerPoint and the video portion. Let's take a look at how we're going to gather our research. Now, in order to keep things organized and collect all of our data or our information that we are researching into one place, I've created this information collection packet, and it goes right along with the different things that you need to research. So you'll see in this top portion here, I have a spot where you're going to put your information that you research about location. And then as we go down, we have our place or region section that has an area for our physical features, our man-made features, and then our major cities or points of interest. As we continue to scroll down, we have the information about where we're going to collect our information about people. We have our history section. And then finally, we have our free choice section where we're going to gather our resource. Now, here is the tricky part and the thing that you really have to make sure you pay attention to and that you do. As you go to each website, every website you find information, you need to add that website to this list at the bottom. So you're going to put the web address on the left and the date that you access that website on the right. And you need to do that for every single website you use. Remember, we want to make sure that the websites we use are reliable. We have the tools and the skills to do that, because we've done it in class a couple times. You know how to read that information and look for faulty information, and you also know how to evaluate a website based on some of the things that are on that website. Make sure you're doing those things and you're finding the most reliable information. You can also use your textbook for information, and you'll find some information inside there. Again, I'm going to say this again because this is very important, and we're going to use this for our bibliography page. You must copy and paste the entire web address in this space and the date you access that website on the right-hand column for each website you use. The last thing I want to take a look at is our Canadian Research Assignment timeline. Here on this document, I have a calendar of our expectations and when you should be completing each portion of this assignment. I've broken it down so that you know if you get this part of the assignment finished on this day, that you are going to be on task and ready to go to submit your final project on October 27th. If we get behind and we don't finish up something one day, we might have to work a little bit over our allotted time. So if you're working for 45 minutes and you don't finish up Wednesday's work, you might have to spend a little bit more time, like it would be homework, in order to finish up that portion of the work. So that way you can stay on pace and you can finish the project on time. I'm going to have daily reminders of what we should be working on each morning in that morning's video. But I also wanted you to have a copy of that timeline so that you could check to make sure that you're keeping on pace. So, your assignment for the rest of today is for you to take a look at all of the directions, all of the information that I just went over, read through it, take a look at the area where you gather all of your data, all of your research that you're going to find. Take a look at all of that, and then also look at the calendar of events and when things are due. And I want you to go inside of Schoology, and in today's folder, there is a discussion question. And the discussion question for you today is, I want each one of you to ask me a question about the project. It's not good enough for you to say, I don't have any questions. I want you to come up with something that you are not sure about, something that you don't understand, something that you want me to clarify, and I will answer all of those questions right inside that discussion. All right, so this is going to be a graded assignment that you have to ask me a question about the project, about something that you don't understand. This is how I'm going to make sure that you're reading through those documents and you've looked at everything and you're ready to go. Once you've done that, then I will tell you where you can find what your assignment topic is, and you'll be ready to go to start your research. Remember, you have to ask me a question. It's part of today's assignment. Throughout the day, check back in that discussion because I'm going to be answering questions that people have asked. And that'll be an area where you can probably find an answer to a lot of the questions you're going to have about this project. Will be in that discussion board.